Hello, and welcome back to Sakuramoyu, and let's get started with today's read-through. We ended the call. I hung up the receiver at that Tokubetsu Kuro Denwa. I'm in Taiga's room, on his bed. Wait, how? Did she just randomly ask teleport? What the fuck? The person that was just talking to on the phone, Denwa, is also in this room, but there was no one next to me. Even though the place is the same, the time is different. I sniffle. I decided not to cry anymore until I could meet Taiga again. That tiny. Even so, I hate this. Taiga. Na, Taiga. Doko ni iru? Onegai. I want you to hold my hand. Otherwise, dameda. My tears welled up and won't stop. I always speak the empty space next to me, knowing no one is there. With my heart. I was a fellow relief to be able to talk to the real kind of the Taiga. Maybe I really can help you. I found such kibble. That's why my namida won't stop. I'm going on a tabi with Taiga. The night I decided that, and then I remembered the long, very long time we walked together.
Why?
On that day,
Kawaii.
Mashiro, who had kidnapped children from all over the world, had become the Iyoro no Jo'o, was trembling in the Tokito's control room.
もう誰も私を好きだと言ってくれる人はいなくなる。誰もが私を大嫌いになる。
She was crying, saying she was scared of that.
もうタイガも夜のどこかで私のことを待っていてくれなくなるかもしれない。
Mashiro's shoulders trembled, saying she was lonely because of that.
お母さんもお父さんもどこかでこんな私を見てるかも。二人はきっと今夜私のことをもっともっと大嫌いになるんだ。
Wait, I'll be right back. It's so cold. I need to warm the room. I'll be right back. That was unbearably painful. Mashiro looked like she would disappear at any moment. The boy stared at her. I'm sorry, Mashiro said.
情けないところを見せてごめん。
That night, she shouldn't have brought the boy into the Yoru just to show him this side of herself. And yet, gomen.
泣いてばかりで震えてばかりでこんな私でごめん。こんな私があなたを救えると少しでも思ってしまって本当にごめんね。
Mashiro repeatedly apologized to the boy.
うまく言葉にできないけれどあなたをここに連れてきたのは
There was definitely someone who wished to live with her for you. No, that feeling might have been selfish. Were my feelings for you genuine? It's questionable. I don't even know. But I wanted you to know all of it. I wanted to convey my apology to you in a way that wasn't words. That's right.
こうすることが私があなたへ
I want to make it I to Yuki no Ota. To leave it for you all over the world. Mashiro wanted to believe that, even if it was childish. She prayed that this Ota might leave even a little Yuki in the heart of the lonely boy. Like countless vivid stories. like sparkling, dazzling paintings, like such words that nameless someone prayed and wrote, like that uta that transcended time from a distant past and delivered a wealth of Yuki and I. She sought even a little light for the yoru, color of your heart.
最後に夢を語ろうか。
Mashiro gave the boy a small smile.
人はみんな誰かになりたい。ねえ、君は一体どんな誰かになりたいと願う？私は誰に嫌われたって、憎まれたって、いつかの私にそっくりなあなたみたいな子たちをね、少しでも多く寂しさから救い出したい。だからね、安心してよ。この先どんな困難なことがあなたに絶え間なく降り注ぐことがあったとしても大丈夫だよ。
Even if she's not physically by my side, even if her voice can't reach me,
私が必ずあなたたちのことを守るから。
so I won't be scared anymore. I won't fear being hated. I can't be the person someone expects me to be. No. It's still terrifying, beyond help, but even so, I'll never complain again.
そんな私になれるよ。頑張る。
It's precisely because I am the kind of person that I'll be able to love myself and finally forgive myself for hurting you.
私はあなたのことを傷つけた。
Mashiro said it countless times, while crying, while forcing a smile.
嫌がるあなたのことを強引に励まして、上っ面で薄ら寒い言葉とハリボテめいたお話にどこか自分で陶酔しながらもあなたに夢を叶えさせようとした。
There are some yume that are better off abandoned. Fulfilling every wish isn't always the right thing to do. And I, who didn't even know that.
嫌がるあなたを強引に説得しながら、これはあなたのためなんだって、きっとそんなことを思いながら自分の思いを小さなあなたに押し付けていた。
That sin is great. For a young heart, it was far, far too great. Unless she did this, Mashiro would never be able to forgive herself. So she screamed.
全人類に告ぐ。
From the small window of the Tokito, Mashiro screamed out to the world of Yoru, to the countless sleeping hearts.
今この夜に人生で最も大切なものを思い出せ。すべてだ。そのすべてを私が壊してみせよう。
And Mashiro became the enemy of all humanity, the Yoru no Jo. A vague yet immensely huge anxiety that took root in people's hearts. She still nests in the Yoru, or perhaps within people's hearts. By finding her location and delivering the final blow, humanity would be saved. That's how the Uwasa began to spread at some point. A reward would even be paid to whoever erased her. The magic power to grant any wish. Even such hatred had, before anyone knew it, begun to spread on the side of the Yoru. The beloved ones she wished to protect. Yoru no Ikimono. They are the Ikimono imagined to love humans unconditionally. They are the remnants of a single girl's sozo, who once envisioned this place for the sake of the person she left behind in the kako. Therefore, the Yoru no Jo who harms humanity is their teki. Even those who called her our Okasan, adored her, hated her, because Mashiro wished upon the Yoru and the Sakura's heart. Mashiro, the girl who should have feared being hated more than anyone else. To save a nameless ordinary boy passing by, she chose this Mirai. I, still a Kaneko, peered out from the chest of the boy who held me at such a scene from that day. Mashiro was a girl who feared being hated more than anything. For her to achieve her yume, which was difficult to fulfill, That price was surely the most fitting. To say many, one sacrifice must be made, pressing the switch for that purpose. The single sacrifice was Mashiro herself. However, the boy, who should have been saved at such a price, was unsaved, confined to the dungeon again. Because of my fault, all the important people became those who would never return. I kept blaming myself like that, continuously. I crawled out from the boy's arms. I looked up at the boy and said,
私
with my small koneko mouth, I tried my best to speak.
君からもらった優しさを君に少しでも返したい。それだけそうできるのをずっと祈って。
Ah, really? This is no good. Dameda. As a koneko, it's hard to speak human words. I gently closed my small eyes and tried to imagine who this boy meets right now.
人は誰でも誰かになりたい。
I murmured it like a spell. It was a phrase that the pure Mashiro Jo had said. Oh, that's redundant. Mashiro. Mashiro no Jo. Jo no Mashiro? Anyway. Then right now, I want to become like you. The only one who can make the most important boy in my world feel at ease is you. I opened my closed eyelids, timidly, carefully. The boy tilted his head. His gaze felt to me like he was saying, "You're a Kuroneko, but when you take human form, you turn Mashiro. Okashi." It certainly is strange, but I don't think it's wrong.
私は私なりに真っ白になりたかった。君の安心になりたかったんだよ。
I'm guessing the reason why Kuro ended up looking like this and sounding like... Actually, well, they have the same voice actress, by the way. I guess based on what the scene that we've seen just now, she really took inspiration from Mashiro, and she decided to basically become Mashiro herself in her own way. The boy always held me close. That was my peace of mind. So tonight, from tonight onwards, I decided to hold the boy close and fall asleep.
どうかな？似てるかな？
I have, I don't know, man. Some of you guys like this shit, man. The Yoronajo who lives in your heart. I feel that she must be the embodiment of your peace of mind. Yeah, she straight up says that she patterned her human form towards Mashiro. And her voice, I guess. I mean, they had the same voice actress for some reason, so I'm guessing that's why. That's why I aim to take her form. We will someday be able to choose human form. The day will come when we have to decide how to make that form. We are Ikimeno that grow in that way. Oh, okay, so they get to choose what they look like and probably even sound like and all that. If I'm going to be anything, I'd rather be useful to you.
でも
But you know, Demo, Gomen, I don't possess the vivid, clear Suzoruku that humans do. That's the kind of Ikimono I am.
だからこれが限界で。
Oh, she really wanted to become like literally Mashiro. But because, you know, that is a Genkai. I can't speak well. I can't put my feelings into words properly, even after taking human form. My poor speaking ability hasn't changed. My mouth, which always stumbles, frustrates me. The boy said nothing. He didn't answer. He just pressed his forehead against my chest and closed his eyes. But it seemed he couldn't sleep easily. He opened his eyes repeatedly, sighing. And then, as if praying he could finally sleep this time, he gently closed his eyelids again, as if wishing for to some unseen entity that the next day would never come. It was a repetition of that. It seems I'm still no good. I can't give you peace of mind. Thinking that makes me sad. とっても悲しみ. I can't do anything. Like the story, the Hoshisora, that the Mashiro girl told the anxious boy who couldn't sleep. Perhaps I should be telling him something with such kibo right now. But I can't. Because right after becoming human, I still don't have the intelligence to do that, the eloquence, or the yuki to turn my feelings into words. Some of you guys like this situation. Totally understandable, but... So all I could do was simply hold you as you fought against the endless sleepless night. Even so, eventually, a hint of very shallow sleep came to your heart. Watashi, I am a Yoru no Ikemono who thinks of you. And you are still just a little small boy. So for us back then, entering and exiting the Yoru no Kami freely wasn't all that difficult. In that confined dungeon, along with the heart of the boy who closed his eyelids, we headed to that place. I'll grant all your nagai, for that very reason.
君は今どんな夢を見るのかな?
With the boy whose hand I held, I looked at the Yozora and murmured.
思い描けるすべてが叶う。
Akuni, where Suzoraku is turned into form.
ここで希望を探そう。君の夢を叶えるための魔法を一緒に探そう。
You know what? I remember thinking about...
何か方法があるはずだよ。
You know what? I just remembered the thought I had this morning. How a lot of the story... There's a certain pattern with like preceding events somehow being emulated by a succeeding event. You know, right now we just had even in the story, like, you know, the stuff that happened with like an earlier that kind of repeats itself in Haru's route and all that sort of thing. But anyway, let's a much more recent example is Kuro taking her form based on Mashiro, you know, taking inspiration from her and all that. And obviously this little boy will eventually take inspiration from Taiga, the OG Taiga. So a lot of the story likes to do that a lot. You could say it's some sort of reincarnation of some sort, you know. You could also say like how people are inspired by how people's acts and deeds and all that sort of thing. You know, they kept repeating the whole thing about like living as if you or yourself is a work of art, and how one lives is able to inspire someone to become someone, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, with our joined hands, I touched the boy's thoughts. I have people I want to save. To do that, I'll want to go back into a time where nothing has happened yet. I'll want to change this Medai. No unfortunate things happened. The boy wishes to repaint time as a blank slate, as if nothing had ever happened. For that, he'd do anything, and he could do anything. The boy's resolve reached me. The boy believed he was the cause of everything. A selfish child who only thinks of themselves will make everyone they cherish unhappy. The boy's heart was made of such words, so I would remain as I was, without meeting Taiga or Mashiro in the basement. He wanted... Oh man, this is so fucking similar to... Okay, here we go. This is another one of those. Remember what happened in Haru's route? Man, we're getting that again here. We're getting that. Well, you could also say something similar with Hiyori and Haru, and now we are here. He wanted to restart his life that way.
ごめんね。それは無理だよ。
I shook my head and said, I'll want to grant any wish of yours. But for that kind of yume, I can't help. Let's go back outside right now.
私は君のことが大切だ。君の夢より君の命や未来の方が大切なんだ。
But even before I said that, The Yoru no ticket boot. I don't know, man. Ticket boot. We couldn't buy a ticket to the place the boy wished for. It wasn't enough. To purchase that Tokubetsu ticketto, a great price was required. But neither the boy nor I possessed anything to pay with. The gold and silver coins to purchase the ticketto could only be exchanged for a life after that. I was still a koneko. I knew too little about Yoru. We lost our way forward. How could we grant his nagai? How can we at least obtain even a small kibo? No matter who we asked, no answer could be found. Even so, I kept thinking. Kangaeru. We ended up riding that densha.
お願い。夜の女王から私たちの愛する者の暮らすこの世界を救うため、どうかあなたたちの力を貸してほしい。
You know, there's some confusing thing that happened in the dungeon. Remember how supposedly the translucent beings, well, they're not necessarily the same people. Maybe they're representations. But the thing that really threw me off was like there was that invisible darkened sprite of Nana, and then Nana-chan, and then they go like they describe her features, and I was like, isn't this literally just Nana-chan? And that means she died. But like we see Nana-chan here, so I guess that's not them, but someone like them. I don't know. Maybe they're multiple versions of themselves. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Lost, she said we were necessary and led us on the train. A tiny conductor of a steel locomotive racing along the tracks. Well, I thought about there's also the possibility. You know how weird timey-wimey stuff is. So maybe the one who died was actually Nana-chan. And then the Nana-chan from the Asaist from the timeline from a different timeline shows up here. It's totally possible. You know what? I don't know, man. But it's totally possible. This car, with no passengers other than us, was heading towards the distant pass. The little girl dressed as the conductor had said,
君は
I thought you were among those who had disappeared when Taiga was being interrogated by scary adults in the dungeon. Okay, there you go. Okay, that confirms it. Maybe this is Nana-chan from a different timeline. But the ultimate fate of Nana-chan was being being shot.
そっか。未来の私はそんな風になっちゃったんだね。
Damn, man. Holy shit. Nana-chan gets shot. Asahi-san gets shot. I think Toya as well gets shot. Both Toyas, you know. The Koneko Toya. The adult Toya who somehow became like a Yoru no Ikimono. Oh my god. Holy shit. It was a smile tinged with a hint of sorrow. Yet it feels strangely devoid of any colors of despair, not even a tinge.
私は誰でもないんだよ。いくつもの記憶や思いの集合体のような存在だから。そんな私に明確な死は存在しない。
Anyway, thanks for confirming that you do actually die, because I was really wondering what that was about, you know.
その瞬間までの記憶はすべて消えてしまっただろうけど、また誰でもない真っ白な私が夜の中に生まれ直してるはずだよ。だから私に関しては救えなかったとか、そういう罪悪感めいた感情を抱く必要はかけらもないからね。全く気にしないでいいよ。
Maybe that is literally Nana-chan, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that's consistent with the timeline, but also I also entertain the possibility of being like Nana-chan. If in an earlier timeline, Nana-chan gets killed, she gets reborn in the Yoru because someone needs to fulfill the role that she plays, and it's still Nana-chan but without the memories of the previous iteration. I don't know, man. There's a lot of things going on in the story.
それにね、なんだか夢物語みたいな突拍子もないことを言うようだけれど。
No. Any realistic tale I tell in this Yume no Sekai will just become a dream story.
ここにいる私は、ここじゃないずっと昔の時間に存在を置く生き物だ。あなたたちの前で姿を消した私は、誰でもない以前に、私であって私じゃない。
Basically, just don't think about it.
未来の世界で、それも夜の外で起きたのだろう出来事で、今ここにいる私には何の影響もないし、だから未来で私がどうなってしまったのかは、まあそれ以上は聞かないけれど。
Man, I still feel bad, man. They all get shot. Holy shit, man.
夜の女王は噂通り大人たちの心を絶望で歪ませ、結果世界を丸ごと壊してしまおうとしている証拠なんじゃないかな。
Although at this point she's only recruiting people for the Yoru no Chō, not the Yoru no O. So something happened that replaced the Yoru no Chō with the Yoru no O.
一体誰がどういう風にしてその噂の出所を確認したのかはわからないし、さらにはあらゆる時代の夜の生き物のほとんどが知るほどの規模でこの噂を流布できたのかはやっぱりわからないけれど。
Those early groundless uwasa are probably the price Mashiro pays to concentrate the entire world's hatred on herself. So she did it. So the price she paid was being hated everywhere and anytime. So literally, even the past, they suddenly just started hating her for some reason because of whatever she paid. As an outsider, just staying by the boy's side, I can't offer my opinion, so I just listened quietly to the girl. I was just too tongue-tied and lacked a Yuki to say anything more to a girl I didn't know.
そういった絶望的な、絶望的な未来へ一歩進み始めたのだろう世界を救いたいと私は願う。
The girl said.
そのための仲間たちを集めようと、ここにいる私は過去も未来も現在も夜の線路が続く限りの世界を旅し続けてきた。そうしてこの未来の世界であなたたちとこうして出会った。あなたたちの絶望ならばきっと強力な魔法となるはずだから。もしもこれから向かう時間の中で他の子たちと力を合わせ夜の女王を倒せたのなら、
The girl said.
その時はきっと夜の世界からあなたたちの願いを叶えるために必要な魔法が与えられるはず。その魔法の力を使ってあなたたちはあなたたちの絶望を明るい色に塗り替えていければいい。
It was a vow made by the Yoru no Ikemono who hated the Yoru no Chō. A vow like a bounty to protect humanity they love.
あなたたちの願いは確か。
I nodded.
私たちには助けたい人たちがいる。
I answered on the boy's behalf. I'm bad at speaking slow-witted. stuttering and mumbling even so.
そのために過去へ戻る方法はないのかなと探してた。
Like the girl who made this yoru returned to the kako via the yoru. I sought something to make that possible for us too.
だけどダメだった。そのための方法はあったのかもしれない。でもたくさんの代償を支払えない私たちにはその方法を選べなくて困ってた。
だから私の誘いにうなずいてくれたんだね。遠い過去の世界へ旅立って夜の女王を倒してほしいっていう私のお願いに。
Everyone was searching for the Yoru no Jo'o's whereabouts to protect the mirai of humanity or obtain Tokubetsu Maho as a reward to fulfill an impossible dream.
過去も未来も現在もそんなものはあんまりにも関係がなく、すべての人たちの隣に、あらゆる時の隣に存在し、あらゆる時と時とをつなぐ夜の国。そんな得意なものがあるから、こんな風にあらゆる意図が絡み合い、無駄な複雑さを作り上げ、こんがらがってしまってる。
This is the author's way of saying, just don't think about it, guys. Just consume product.
そうした意図を少しずつ解いていくその中で、夜の女王は毎年とある春の日の夜にだけ現れるのだということが分かったんだよ。今から向かう場所に待つ夜の魔法使いを名乗る猫がそれを見つけた。
Once a year, it was said, the Yoru no Jo'o only appeared on the night of that day. Hearing that date, my heart skipped a beat, then throbbed with a little pain. It was the same date as the night Mashiro, for the boy became humanity's enemy, the Yoru no Jo'o, and kidnapped children.
夜の国では過去も未来も現在も関係なくいくつもの線でつながっている。
The little girl repeated that, as if a souvenir for us who knew nothing. She taught us various things until our destination.
さらに言えばここは選ばれなかった時間の墓場でもあり、そうした可能性を時間という形のないものそのものを記憶媒体とし蓄積保管する図書館のような場所でもある。だから全ての時間は多角的につながっているし、現象の記録媒体である時間の中で一度起きてしまった出来事はあらゆる時代の夜の中にその影を落としてしまう。
For that reason, no matter what era or what point in time it might be, if it were the world itself branching off rather than Jigan, that would be a different matter. However, anyway, I just needed to defeat the Yoru no Jo'o in one of the eras. If I do that, the Yoru no Jo'o will cease to exist from the side of all times.
私たちが向かう先は人間たちの心がその想像力が最も豊かだった時代だ。
It was an era of many wonderful creations across all genres. Many renowned authors whose works passed down for generations were also born. It was also an era where many nameless magnificent creators were born. One was the girl who created the Yoru, the other, the boy who sang a song just for her. They are Kanade Taiga's parents.
だからその時代を私たちは夜の女王との決戦の場に選んだ。
Still, relying solely on the children born into such an era may not provide sufficient war strength for the final battle. So Zoryoku is born precisely in the midst of sorrow.
自分の力だけではもうどうしようもできない深いとても深い悲しみにあえぎ、それでも光を求める子らはどの時代にも必ずいるはず。
After all, The quiet neighbor that connects to every era, the Yoru no Kuni, really does exist. And that's why, she said, I'm searching for, seeking out, the kind of children worthy of being fit for this maho.
夜の国では人間だけが持つ想像する力こそが、とりわけ年頃の少年少女の想像力こそが、その悲しみこそが悪夢と戦うためのより強力な武器となる。あなたたち名前はあるのかな？
Man, they really need to fix that pronoun. Unless it's because anyway, never mind. They asked for my name instead of a tikito. I blurted out Kuro. It was the precious name you'd given me. Seeing it filled me with warmth, almost making my chest itch.
黒。真っ白なのに。
そう、真っ白なのに。
Mashiro. Mashiro Ero Symphony. Love is pure white. Anyway, I suddenly remembered at the end. I should listen to its OST later. The two of us tilted our heads and nodded in unison. But you just sit there, frozen in silence. This girl has no name. She's no name, just like me. How am I supposed to get that across to her? That's what I thought, but
人は
in a quiet murmur, the boy said that. It was the boy's voice. One I hadn't heard in a long time.
人は誰でも誰かになりたい。
It's as if he's whispering a secret password that he's tossing over to the far side of a tightly shut door.
タイガ
I made sure to tell the little train conductor girl, who was tilting her head in confusion, clearly and firmly.
僕は俺はタイガ奏タイガ。この世界を大切な人を救うはずだったあの人みたいに俺はなりたい。
It's amazing now we're officially voice acted, by the way.
思えばあの人こそが僕の憧れ、僕のヒーローだったんだ。
あの人。
It feels like he's steeling himself for something huge, like making some big resolve. The boy, Taiga.
俺たちはもう誰かの期待通りには生きたりしない。
え？
あの人は大人たちの期待を裏切り、大切な人の手を引き逃げようとした。世界の行く末なんかより大切な人をたった一人救えればいいと願ってた。そんなあの人のように苦しんでいる誰かを一人でも助けられるように、そういう風に俺も生きたい。あの人のように俺はなりたい。必ずだ、必ず成し遂げてみせる。
それはどういう？
俺たちは夜の女王を傷つけないよ。
I quietly looked at the sky, at the train ceiling.
彼女を助けるというのなら力を貸すよ。惜しみなく。こんな俺たちに俺に何ができるのかはわからないけれど。
I spoke, savoring my words. Sitting next to you, I wondered if I should take your hand, if I should hold your hand. Today, at this very moment, the voice I heard again, my own, was powerful, surprisingly so, if I knew myself from before. And yet why, doshite? My voice and words too, kotoba, sounded to me somehow very, very sad.
「悲しみこそが人の想像力の源だ」。そういう言葉を残した決して著名とは言えない人間がいたけれど、多分それはこの世界の秘密の一つなんじゃないかなとは私も思うよ。
I think I also vaguely heard this saying, you know? It's been said so many times that I don't even know who was the first person who said that. It almost feels like a known fact if you have enough life experience. Anyway, shaken by the densha that crossed time, I arrived at the workshop at the Yoru no Mahotsukai, Yume no Nedoko. There, in response to what we asked, the Mahotsukai, what we asked the Mahotsukai, the following words were given.
持って生まれた才能がいくらまばゆいものだろうと、生きることで悲しみを多く知った心の方にこそ未来を切り開いていくための力がより強く秘められていると私も信じたい。だから君たちを選んだんだよ。
To the Mahotsukai at the Yume no Nedoko, I awkwardly asked why she had chosen us as the decided battle members against the Yoru no Jo'o. We have nothing, far from having special talent, and not to sozo anything within the Yoru. We don't even exist as an individual. That child and I are just pretending to be someone we admired. Even our names, and surely the words we speak like this. We are Mashiro. We are nothing more than Nisemono, emptier than a pure white void, a Mashiro void. Oh man, for a split second when I read the word "we are nothing more than fakes," I suddenly remembered fucking Gilgamesh for some reason. He keeps repeating the line "faker." Anyway, what can we do? Can we grant Yume, grant Nagai? With such thoughts I asked, earnestly and clumsily, with my insufficient mind.
私にもあるのかな。日向朝日、冬月東夜、二人みたいに私にも大切な人を応援できる、大切な人を大切にそばで守れる、そのための力があるのかな。その力を使ってあの子の大河の役に私は立てる。
At the Mahotsukai's full moon soiree, while Taiga learned Maho with the other children, I learned about my inborn chikara from the Mahotsukai. I rarely had moments alone like this with anyone other than a child. So with my small chest pounding, unable to even look directly at the Mahotsukai, I wanted to escape from here right now. I somehow endured that shy feeling and listened.
ああ、あるよ。君にもきっと何かがある。私たち夜の猫たちは無条件に人間を愛さなければならない。そんな役割を背負ってこの世に生まれた。いや、この世に創造されてしまったと言うべきか。
And Tonikaku said, Hinukai Asai-san. The Mahotsukai, Yoru no Mahotsukai.
私たち夜に生まれた生き物はおのおの夜の中で生きるための特別な役割があり、しかしその役割は誰かが親切丁寧に教えてくれるものではない。
Just as Segi and Aku differ depending on each person's inner world and perspective. Just as there is no single correct teacher in life, it's not something that can be clearly defined in words.
持って生まれた境遇や力を判断材料にして己自身が生きていくその時間の中で見出していくしかないものだ。でも私たち特別な猫は比較的わかりやすい方だと思うよ。
The Yoru no Neko values something akin to what humans call bloodlines or family lineage. There are many such lineages, and it's said that within each continuing bloodline, a different power is inherited by each family. With that ability, I secretly support the lives of humans, whom I feel an unconditional love for. When those people are in unbearable sorrow, I wish to be by their side, able to encourage them. Within that unconditional love, the feelings of the girl who imagined Sozo the Yoru must be contained. I wish for it to be a gentle and joyful world, so that the beloved person I can no longer be by doesn't feel lonely and all alone. It is a world where such feelings and wishes took shape, precisely because such feelings of the girl are contained even within me, who am I, who am a part of the Yoru. Even if I were to suffer terribly, I would never be able to hate humans. He was kind to me. I feel I'll want to keep cherishing that, Taiga, until this life ends. The Mahotsukai continued to speak.
私の妹には、とは言っても、私と血はつながっていないんだけれど、まあ、それは今はいいか。とにかく私の妹には、最大10秒先の未来を見せるという力が備わっている。より特別に思う人間にのみという条件はつくけれど、そういう種類の猫なんだ。私は傷の治療だ。人体の自然治癒能力を増長させて、普段よりも数倍の速さで傷を治してやれる。まあ、自分でも少し脆弱な力だなとは感じてた。だからこうして他の者たちより少し多い夜の知識とかを利用してできることを増やし、夜の魔法使いだなんて名乗ってる。魔法使いというのは少し大げさかもしれないなとも実は思うよ。夜の中で特殊な道具を作ったりはしているけれど、ただ夜に迷い込んだ人間たちの導きみたいなことをやってるだけだしね。
In that way, we Neko born into the Yoru are all equally imbued with the Tokubetsu Chikara.
だから必ず君にも何かあるはずだ。それが一体何なのか見出すための手伝いくらいはできると思うよ。
I stared at my own hands.
私はノラだと思ってた。
My Okasan and Otosan weren't there. Neither were my siblings. Before I knew it, I was lost outside in the Yoru. I was so hungry. I thought I was going to die. All the other Koneko besides me were sleeping, gently held by their Okasan. I had no one at all. I was lonely. I was always suffering from an unbearable loneliness. Kanashimi. Sabishi. I was a child no one wanted, so I became a stray. A lost child with nowhere to go home to. Dare no inai.
誰も私を愛してくれない。
With my chisai newborn heart, I gave that reason to this loneliness. The one who held me tight was that child, the small child, just like me, who now goes by Taiga. For that unbearable heavy loneliness, that child protected me with his embracing arms. We curled up together, slept through many nights. It was warm. My body was warm. My heart was warm. I wish we could stay together forever. If we could just stay like this forever and ever, I would be happy. I prayed for that. Beyond that, I didn't need any reason for my desire to cherish that child.
僕には名前がないから。だから代わりに君に名前をつけてあげたい。
Our canonical voice, by the way. That child hugged me and said they spoke to me, just me. Though it was in a small voice. That made me happy. Kuro. That's what they call me. He petted me a lot. He shared their food with me. Just that. Desho? There's nothing more than that here. There's nothing like Mashida's desire for a love story in her life, or any dramatic tale where my feelings are weighed against the world.
だからそんな君たちみたいに特別なものなんて
何もないと思ってた。でも
They say that even I possess a tokubetsu noru chikara to support someone important to me. If I, who thought I had no talent at all, actually possess some power.
私はこれから続いていく大河の全部の時間が少しでもいい笑顔でいられるものにできるように。
But are such feelings are also something that one holds because they are a ikemono? When I thought that, I wondered why. I felt a little sad.
そうか。君もやっぱり私たちと同じなんだな。
Asari-san, what do you mean? The Mahotsukai says,
いつも胸に宿って消えない君が大好きという気持ちに特別な原因はない。ただそういう生き物だからというだけだ。それ以上のわけもなくあるものに思えるからこそなんだか時々悲しいんだ。この思いは本当に本物なのかなって。そういうふうに少し疑いたくなってしまうし、疑いを持ってしまう自分自身にさえもまた悲しく感じてしまうんだ。
But it can't be helped, says Hinukai Asai-san, the Yoru no Mahotsukai.
仕方がないよ。だって私たちはやっぱりどこまで行っても生まれながらにしてそういう生き物なんだから。生まれつき人間を憎く思ってしまう。そんな薄暗い心を持って生まれてこなくてよかった。せめてそう思うことにしてるよ。それなのに猫たちは大切にしたいと願う人間たちよりずっと長生きだ。だからまたもう一つ避けられないさよならと寂しさが大切に思いたい人間と出会うたび私たちには待ち受けてるんだ。その事実の方がよっぽど悲しい。この気持ちが本物だとか偽物だとかそういう問題よりも。
Including all of that, the Yoru no Mahotsukai said it can't be helped and smiled, looking very sad as expected. Could I become strong like that? I thought, listening to the Mahotsukai's words. With that boy? No. If that child says they want to be like that, I'll call you Taiga. Soyo. Imagine that one day. I'll have to say sayonara to that Taiga. My nose stung. Tears was about to fall. This is no good. I'm Yoai. I'm probably a bigger crybaby than anyone. When the day comes I say sayonara to Taiga, I'll surely cry like a child. Cry a lot, and cause you a lot of trouble. I probably won't be able to say it can't be helped like this Mahotsukai. Even so I, until that moment arrives one day, Taiga, I want to be by your side. That is my nagai. Only when I'm by your side can I forget my lonely feelings, and I wish to make your future time gentle and enjoyable, even if it costs me my entire life. And yet, doshite? Yeah, that's exactly why. I can no longer be with you. The denwa is ringing incessantly. The back room at the Yumena Netoko. After a full moon night party, Asai-san asked me to stay home for an errand. I nodded, thinking if it's just that much, it was then. Tiger ran off somewhere with the friends he'd make at the night party. I'll be right back, so keep it a secret from Asai-san. He let those words for me.
ひどいよタイガー。私も連れてって欲しかったのに。
That day, I was a little sulky. Wait, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Not gonna lie, today's gonna be shorter than usual. Feeling really tired, so yeah, I could probably only go like 20 to 30 minutes more, so let's try to make the best of it. That day, I was a little sulky. Lately, Taiga hasn't been paying much attention to me. I hug a roll-up cushion with all my might and idly rolled around in the empty living room. Taiga spent more time with the kids from the night party. They were his age, humans too. As kinda the Taiga, the boy became surprisingly talkative. He's trying to live out his understanding of how kinda the Taiga the person is. Are you okay? Are you pushing yourself? Such thoughts sprouted within me and wouldn't disappear. It's much more wholesome than being with an unidentifiable kitten Koneko like me. Even I, who am not very smart, understand that much. It's better if Taiga is happy. That takes priority over anything. I thought it would if even a little of your lonely feelings disappeared, I would be happy too.
でもね、時々でいいから。
I thought it would be nice if there were days you'd pet my head and spoil me like before, and you'd sleep with me again. I found myself thinking such selfish thoughts. I shook my head, trembling. Somehow, I'm like a spoiled child. I suddenly felt ashamed of myself, even though I'm older than Taiga, and yet I want to be spoiled by a younger boy. I guess that makes sense with I guess the earlier scene makes sense now. Anyway. This is a little strange, isn't it?
私たちは夜の女王を倒して
No, that's wrong.
夜の魔法使いやその他の子たちと力を合わせて夜の女王を救出して全員で夢を叶えるための魔法を手に入れなきゃならないんだから。
I muttered that all alone, trying to steal my resolve. That's right. To think things like Taiga doesn't pay attention to me. He doesn't pet my head. Sleeping alone is lonely. I shouldn't have time to feel all restless and anxious in my chest all alone.
タイガが私以外の誰かに笑いかけてると変なの。もやっとするの。
I ended up muttering to myself, facing the cushion I was hugging.
あのね、タイガ。
I received a hint from the Mahotsukai, from Asai-san.
やっと私の持ってる力が分かったんだよ。
With this, I could be useful to Taiga. Thinking that made me so happy. The firm my tail even stood on, and I was so happy and my heart pounded. So what is exactly is her power?
タイガに一番に聞いてもらいたかったのにな。
Even so, he went out with his friends. I just keep pouting my lips. I was starting to dislike my jealous self a little. I want to be a more charming me. When he comes back, I want to be able to say "Okaeri nasai" with a smile, not with this sulky face. But my feelings just wouldn't calm down. In the empty living room of the Yumena Nedoko, I was rolling around and around, hugging the cushion I'd been sitting on. I tried to feel at ease with my own lingering scent, but just then, the Kuro Denwa in the corner of the living room started to ring. I flinched and jumped. Someone might have seen me. I was hugging my cushion and feeling a little happy. I jumped out of the living room, trying to hide somewhere in the shadows, but...
電話
Kyokun Denwa? Wait. Why is there some random German words on the phone? But anyway. I don't know German, so I'll just not think about that right now. I cautiously peered at the continuously ringing denwa.
もしこの電話が鳴ることがあったなら君が代わりに出てくれないかな。この番号を知ってるのはちょっとした魔法の小道具作りを依頼してくる者たちだ。要件をメモしておいてくれたら嬉しいな。
I had nodded. Wait, what? I had it nodded, leave it to me to that request, but wait, yeah, this is some weird translation. I had nodded to leave it to me to that request, but okay, I get what the sentence is trying to say. I didn't agree. I haven't agreed to that request, but Asai-san was out to buy materials needed to make a toku to freely control my newly discovered chikara. Asai-san is out for my sake. Even so, not being able to grant Asai-san's request is what a bad child would do. Because I thought that, and my hands were trembling for nervousness. The chocolatito I ate instead of breakfast this morning also felt like it would fly out of my mouth, but more than anything, I had a bad feeling. Impossible. I want to spend my whole life without talking to anyone other than myself. And Taiga? You didn't even thought about Taiga? Anyway, although I'm such a terrible introvert, I took 1, 2, 3, 4 deep breaths and picked up the Kuro Denwa's receiver. I cautiously pressed the receiver to my ear. I heard someone's screaming voice, but it's no good. The noise was crackling. I couldn't understand it well. But I knew immediately who it was. Oh, canonical Taiga voice, by the way.
Taiga?
I'll try asking him.
お願いもう少し大きなTaiga?
I wonder who's Taiga's VA, like, his canonical VA. Got curious about that, yeah. Sakuramori. I keep asking myself over and over.
Taiga なの?
Looks like the static's finally easing off little by little. Yeah, they never list who's his VA is. It might be a super random person. But anyway, it's probably fine. Looks like the static's finally easing off a little by little. My voice is finally starting to reach him. I can feel it.
どうしてタイガがこの電話に?
Oh yeah, by the way, if you can't remember what the scene is, this is the scene when Taiga and Haru got carried off with Azusa. You know, they she kept going to the future, and Haru was nearby with him. You know, the thing that happened in Haru's route. But anyway, could it be Kuro? Wait, what happened to? I thought Taiga was voice acted. That was the only voice acted line.
私
Why is Kuro on this call? The same sort of doubts and words somehow felt a little off. I didn't have the luxury to laugh at that. My ears pricked straight up. Could feel the air shift.
今みんなお出かけしてて誰もいない
No, 誰のいない?
そう誰も私一人もしもこの電話が鳴るようなことがあったなら私が出るようにって朝日から言われてて
And there, for a moment, I felt like the usual me had come back. The tense, prickly atmosphere, the kind that makes you think something might have happened, eased up. ごめんね, Kuro. Arigato. If it weren't for this situation, there'd be so many things I want to say and ask, but tension crept back into Taiga's voice. My ears and tail are prickling with an uneasy feeling. Shojiki, they just ratted out the situation Taiga's in right now. The girl I met at Yoru Kai? Yoru at the night. What? What is Yoru Kai? Is that the full moon thing? Soiree? Anyway, whatever. Toa Azusa. I can't help wondering if I can cure the illness that plagues her. I think, I think this is supposed to be like the full moon soiree, but it became Yorukai, and Toa for some reason translates into Torakawa for some reason. I don't know why. And that's why I kept it a secret from Asai-san. Took the girl, burst out of the Yume no Netoko, and so they say, set off for the terminal station at the time. The girl's illness was worse than imagined. Taiga and Hiragiharu, someone we met at the soiree, are now being flung into the mirai. The reason Taiga's device in this old black rotary denwa can connect across any distance is because of the maho woven by the Yoru no Maho sky. I was likely trying to undo Mashiro's Noroi. Azusa's Noroi is surely that of the jet black-hearted children slumbering in the sakura tree. Watashi. I let out an inner sigh of relief, silently telling myself it was alright. Learning what my power truly was, it really was a relief. We just couldn't get Asai-san to finish a device to control this power in time. It's okay, she said to me.
ごめんね。私、おバカだから、あまり上手に説明できない。だけど、なんとかなるよ、きっと。
Okay, so that explains why she... I guess we'll finally understand how she was able to walk during that... the black... I forgot, the Jikan no Hakaba. You know, the light footsteps that showed up. Maybe, okay, I guess they'll explain it now, how that happened. Somehow.
今のタイガを助けられる方法は、道具は、魔法は、ここには、夢の寝床にはないだろうけれど、でも、私の中には、それはあるんだよ。
More static crackled, but she continued, unperturbed. I thought.
だからタイガ、君に降りかかる大変なことは、これからも全部私が。
No, it's no good. I can't hear you well. Please say it again. My voice no longer seemed to reach him. They must have been blown that far away. I had to hurry. A sayonara. There's no time to regret. Goodbye, it seems. What?
タイガ、電話を切って、この電話を君が切る。それを合図にしよう。そうすれば、全部元通りになるはずだから。
Demo! Through the gas and the static, I could clearly hear my own voice.
かなでくん、誰と話してるの？朝日さんじゃない？
I like how we could hear Haru. That voice reached my ears from behind her. It sounded anxious. A voice crying for help. I wanted to help them both right away. I want to free them from their anxiety.
早く、タイガ、電話を切って。
Then well, we might use the other special CG. That was a really good CG for today's thumbnail. Yeah. She said as if praying, I thought. It was only for a moment. There was silence.
お願い、タイガ。このまま私の声が、電話を通してでも届かなくなってしまったら、それほど遠くに君たち二人が飛ばされてしまったら、多分、 私にもタイガたちを助けられなくなる。
Kuro, I'm hanging up. Over the denwa, I nodded.
その前に一つだけ約束をしてほしい。
What? He said in response to my voice.
春としっかり手をつないでて、電話を切る前に。いい？タイガ、もう一つだけ約束。これからどんなことが起きたとしても、絶対春のその手を離しちゃダメだよ。夢の寝床に帰るまでは絶対に。タイガ？
Kuro, we'll see each other again, right? I heard Taiga's anxious voice. Perhaps my unease was conveyed. No, I want you to always smile. So even over the denwa, I smiled at Taiga.
大丈夫。また会える。約束するよ。
I used the chikara that had just awakened. Alright, what is her special ability that allows her to walk the Chikanda Hakaba?
ごめん、タイガ。私は嘘つきだ。
I, who had used the power, had to embark on the journey, Tabi. Even if I could keep the promise of we'll meet again, the vow of I won't leave you alone. Gomen. Hontoni gomen. I don't think I can keep up. Keep it.
私の力は
In the empty room, I muttered.
大切に思う人に降りかかる不幸をすべて肩代わりすること。
What the oh my god! That means I would receive all the problems that befall Taiga. Though I learned this later, Hiragi Haru imitated my power and said she imagined her own Maho. Taiga was caught up in Toa Asusa's illness. Her illness was that by sleeping on a night of Mangetsu, she would leap into the Mirai. Both Taiga and Haru contacted the illness. To save the two people, I had no choice but to use Chikara. Okay, so basically, yeah, okay. So, Hiragi Haru's Maho. Okay, I get it now. But she's the OG. Okay, I get it. I mean, she doesn't need to wish for it or whatever. She just has it. Though it wasn't fully complete yet, I had no time to hesitate. I transferred Taiga and Haru's illness to myself over the Denwa. When I departed, I guided the two who had gotten lost in the pitch darkness back to their original era's Yumena Nedako. At that time, I could have just received Taiga's illness.
でもそんなことをしたらタイガが悲しむ。
Even something like that, even I, lacking heart and Suzoruku, understood. To take on all the misfortunes of the person I cherish most. Ignoring the precondition, I could take on Hiragi Haru's transferred illness, probably because I still couldn't fully control my Chikara. So in truth, even without my resolve, this Chikara almost indiscriminately, haphazardly activated.
そうならないように朝日が魔法の道具を作ってくれようとしてたけど。
間に合わなくてごめん。
After using the Chikara over the Denwa with Taiga, overcome by sudden drowsiness, Asai-san picked me up from where I slumped to the floor and said,
この黒電話を持っていけ。この電話があればどんなに遠く離れていても今の私たちと会話はできるから。
Arigato, I said in a voice worn out by intense sleepiness. Wait, what exactly happens to her when she uses her Chikara?
このことはタイガには
Don't tell him, I said, and I weakly shook my head.
タイガにはタイガのやらなきゃいけないことがあるから。私はそれを応援したい。邪魔だけは絶対したくないんだ。
Not to defeat the Yoru no Jo'o, but to save him, and reviving Kanade Taiga, reclaiming their lives, obtaining the Maho for that. It wasn't just about regenerating lost lives, it was trying to kakikairu the very unme at the Sekai, a big one, a very oki no Maho. But that was my yume. If I could have made that come true, I'll probably never be able to forgive myself. Taiga probably feels that everything that happened to the two of them that way is his fault. Demo. Until now, up to this point, we haven't really talked about that face to face.
頭の足りない私は話すことがいつまで経っても得意じゃないし。
The boy, stopping, knowing what I was thinking from the moment I said I am kind of the Taiga that day.
何も喋らなかった頃よりも奏で大河として話すようになってからの方があの子が何を考えてるのか余計にわからなくなってしまった。
I'm getting confused by this. Yeah, this is obviously a translation error, but like, yeah, this is such a confusing statement. But the context is him more than when he didn't say anything, since he started seeing as kind of thing what that child is thinking. I understand even less. Okay, basically, she repeated that previous line in her own words. Probably that child and I, no matter how far we go, are human and neko. Humans are creatures who don't honestly speak their feelings to anyone other than humans. The most important worries about life are only spoken to other people. Perhaps that's a kind of camaraderie. Therefore, Taiga tells me nothing.
自分を許せないまま生きるというのはきっととても辛いことなんじゃないかな。
That's why Mashiratu couldn't forgive herself. She chose that path. In that way, I could only imagine Taiga and their feelings on my own.
私も人間だったらよかった。
I muttered to myself with a sigh. どうして神様?
どうして私は猫に生まれてきたんだろう。大河と同じに生まれたかったな。
Slowly getting distracted. Okay, I need to finish the scene. I'm just gonna end it here after the scene. I'm slowly losing stamina for today. I'm really tired for some reason. Stroking ears of a different shade than yours, and a tail. I'm always thinking only of such things.
いつか
I want Taiga to tell me his true feelings someday. Until that day comes, I'll use my newborn Chikara and wish to gently protect you from afar, but sometimes from close by. What exactly is the price of her using her Chikara? I mean, I'm getting the impression when a Neko uses their Chikara, it doesn't really cost them something, you know, compared to using actual Maho. I don't know. Because it's established in the Yoru that there's always a price for anything someone does. That's why I couldn't sleep anymore, tripping into the mirai as much as I slept. And so when I awoke, I was here. Wait, are you saying that she's very similar to like Azusa? So not only does her natural ability is not only is her natural ability is to do Haru's Maho, but the price of using her Chikara is basically falling asleep. Oh no. Okay, no, I don't think it's literally okay. I can't tell if it's jumping in the future in the same way as Asusa or like she goes into a coma state. But I'm giving the impression it's more of the Asusa one because I don't know, man. Tick tock, tick tock. Many clocks are ticking away each second. It's the room in the Yume no Nedoko. This place is like a time adjustment room. If I just tinker a bit with the hands of the clock on the wall, I could separate this room's time from the outside world's time. If I stop the hands of the clock that advance this room's time, only the room's time will stop, separate from the progression of the time outside. That's why I wait silently in this room, without sleeping, until the time world I originally came from catches up to here. Oh, okay, I get it.
時間と世界は少しでも何かしらの観測と干渉があれば即座に君の知らない世界へと無数に無限に枝分かれしてしまう。未来とは私たちにとって一番身近な平行世界だ。
God damn it. When on the day I feel so tired, we slowly get into like this kind of conversation about like parallel worlds and timelines and shit, and it involves Kuro's power, price of her power or something. Oh my god, this is really important. It will explain a lot of things that's been happening in every route, especially Haru's route, because there's so much mysterious things happening with there's a lot of hard carrying by Kuro. Yeah, by Kuro, that's it feels like she just comes and goes and whatever.
だから君は飛び越えてしまった先の時間に何も干渉することなく時の調整室で時間の進行を止め過去が今に追いついてくるのをたった一人で待つしかなかった。そうでなければ次に君と出会えた私たちは奏大河は君の知ってる人物とはどこか違っているかもしれない。
That means
君はたった一人時間の迷路に閉じ込められてしまうことになる。一度道をそれてしまえば二度と元には戻れないと思っていた方がいい。
no, okay. I think she ends up like her price ends up like being like Azusa, but because she stays in the time room and it becomes like a fixed point in somewhere and in some future and the fuck. Anyway, my slow mind couldn't quite grasp it. I feel the same right now. Today's not the best day for my cognitive abilities. But as Ase-san warned, I stopped the clock hands only, those that are indicated in this room's time every time I woke up from sleep, because I wanted to meet the Taiga I knew again. Tick tock, tick tock. I listened intently to the sound of many overlapping second hands, shrinking down here and just waiting for time to pass. The sound of the second hand advancing sounded to me like your footsteps, slowly but surely, coming towards the midnight where I was. I yawned. I rubbed my face vigorously many times so I wouldn't fall asleep. I got hungry, and I was lonely all by myself. Since I'm a crybaby, I might have cried a little too. But the only thing I looked forward to was Yoru. I am always calling you from here, from just a little bit ahead in the future, midnight. I love that time when you would tell me what happened during your day.
よかった。お友達と一緒に毎日楽しそうで
よかったよ。
Jesus Christ, man. With the context of the stuff that's been... Jesus fucking Christ. Even over the Denwa, knowing that about you made me happy. And then, on nights when you couldn't sleep due to anxiety or worry, I wish I could give you Yuki with the right words like that person, like Mashiro.
面と向かっては簡単じゃなくても、どうしてだか電話でなら大丈夫。
I could say things I'd normally be too embarrassed to say without hesitation. I could choose many words to encourage you when you couldn't sleep. That was all. I think that was my only kibo to distract from the lonely sabishi of being all alone. Listening to the clock sound all by myself, I couldn't help but become aware of sayonara. To end up all alone like this, just by taking on your misfortune. I hadn't expected anything like that at all. It was far too sudden. Oh, no. Okay, I'm starting to understand what the hell what happened. So, it's not necessarily the price of her... it's not the price of her chikara. It's more like... Remember that she took on the misfortune of Taiga and Haru, who were lost in the Chikan no Hakaba, where thanks to Azasa, they're also going into the future and all that sort of thing. So that's why she's also going into the future. So she sort of inherited. That's a byproduct of her absorbing their misfortune. Okay, it's not the price. It's the consequence of the absorbing their misfortune there. The aim of sayonara with you that will one day come. Perhaps that too will be sudden. That thought scared me. Even if that comes to Taiga, we can meet again in the Yoru no Kuni. Really? Really? There's no sayonara. There's so much I don't understand. Being just a koneko. Everything I don't understand turns into anxiety. That's why...
少しでも多く
is what I end up feeling. I don't know when the sayonara with someone important will come.
だから1秒でも多くそばにいたいなと思ってたけど
When will I be able to see you next? Even if I stop time in this room, the taiga I know, the chikan, toki, won't catch up here immediately. I had to keep waiting, alone and without sleep, for what felt like an eternity. When we meet again, I hope I can be with you for just a little bit longer. With that, Nagai, I stopped the second hand of the wall clock. I really have to call it in here, man. I'm so dead today. My brain. Yeah, I have to call it in. I'm so mentally exhausted today. Thanks work. Fucking hell, today's. Anyway, I just had to suffer this week. But then again, this week is the week where we're doing the grand route, so so many things happening in this week. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys on the next upload. Ciao.
出会った日の思い出を色鮮やかに描くよ。視線がすれ違うたび高鳴る鼓動を抑えた。初めて触れた指でなぞった名前。心まで染め上げて全てを変えてゆく。春空舞う花びらは過ぎ去った奇跡じゃなく、めくった季節を越えても輝いて、二人の未来を彩るよ。春風吹くこの場所で懐かしい舞台の上重ねた想いの数だけ迷わずに二人で描いてゆこう。新しい物語を。放課後待ち合わせて帰った夕日の色、夜空浮かぶ月のように君がそばにいてくれた。視線がぶつかるたびに近づくことを数えた。初めて触れた方の震えが今も心まで染め上げて全てを変えてゆく。繰り返す時を幾千も夜を永遠に過ごす。この先もずっと冬の名残払う風は汚れのない思い乗せて飛んでゆく。春空舞う思い出は過ぎ去った奇跡じゃなく、明日へ踏み出す背中をそっと押す。昨日から届く贈り物だよ。春風吹くこの場所で新しい舞台の上重ねた手と手をもう二度と離さずに二人で今歩き出そう。終わらない物語を。